What's up, everybody? Welcome to Untamed and Unhinged Reptile Podcast. I'm Big Flexin from Flex Infinite and Reptiles. That's Tanner, my co-host, special guest co-host today. He's from Good Exotics. Tanner, you want to go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself before we bring out Mehduzah?
Yeah, I am a crested gecko breeder and a wholesale distributor out of Springfield, Missouri. We deal primarily with crested geckos, but we do a little bit of everything. You name it. Typically, we can have it. We also do a lot with rodents. We have a breeding facility about half an hour away with about 6,000 rodents in it at any given time.
Hell yeah. And then there's no updates on US Arc right now, right? Same thing as yesterday?
Yeah, no, there's no update. They're still doing Arizona and Florida as the two big fights right now.
All right. Other than that, are you ready to go?
Let's get her done.
All right. I'm going to bring out Jennipher. She's from Mehduzah Reptiles. Here she is.
Hi.
Hey.
All right. So I suppose you want me to tell everyone a little bit about myself?
Yes.
All right. I'm terrible at that. And also, I'm sorry, everyone. My head is a little bit fuzzy because I recently had a burnout. So if I sound ridiculous, it's because I am ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, my name is Jennipher. I'm from Sweden and I am a herpetologist, and I have been keeping snakes for a little bit over 30 years now. Yes, I am that old. Yeah, I'm terrible at talking about myself. Can you imagine? What do you guys want to know about me? Please ask me questions.
Okay. I would say the first question is how long you've been handling venomous reptiles and how long you've been doing herpetology or being a herpetologist.
All right. Well, I got the certificate as a herpetologist during the pandemic. So that was it's 2020. Before I was studying a lot before that, because here in Sweden you can't take one specific course to become a herpetologist. You kind of need to study several different subjects, and then you gain the competence to actually gain the certificate. So I did that for several years, and then I just decided, okay, it's time, and I don't really have anything to do during the pandemic, so that's when I did it. And as I said, I've been keeping reptiles mainly snakes for over 30 years. But I started with the venomous. I think it must have been, I got my mentor 11 years ago, and then I wanted to really learn how to do proper handling. And then I worked at a facility that kept venomous snakes for a while as well. And then I was basically just waiting for the right moment and to find the right individuals to start with venom myself. So then I started with low potency, and then, and then it escalated from that, basically.
All right, Tanner, you're going to have to take over for me. I'll be right back.
All right, Chris, I can keep going from here.
All right.
So, Jennipher, so you have done, if I can speak today, you've been doing herpetology.
Me neither, so you're fine.
Hey, we're on the same page then. So you've been a herpetologist for about 4 years. Is there anything that you're focused on directly through it?
Well, yes, I focus mainly on snakes. And my specialty for a long time was colubrids, specifically king snakes. But now I have widened it a lot more, and now I've started to focus more on the venom keeping, especially Atheris and Trimeresurus. Oh, I'm going to pronounce the Latin names in like a Swedish accent, because that's how I know most of them. So if I sound weird, it's because I'm saying it in Swedish, basically.
No, you are just fine.
Okay,
I'll tell you
great.
now, the majority of people aren't going to know the Latin names anyways.
Oh, well, fine. Okay, that's cool then. So
So
basically bush vipers and pit vipers and such. And I also got a rattlesnake recently because, she was just adorable. So
now, for people that are wanting to get into hots, what would you say is
yeah.
the first step? What's the first
The
thing
first
they should do?
the first step is get a mentor and get someone who really knows what they're doing, not one of these, ADHD dude bros that are just free handling for shits and giggles, basically. Go for someone who has a lot of experience and who treats their animals with respect and that really wants to teach you like the safety first kind of mentality. And then you should really follow their work and see how they take care of their animals and how they handle them. So I mean, I had a mentor for almost 6-7 years before I even started thinking about getting any hots myself. And then from that, start with some low potency, like maybe a Boiga or like a Vipera or something like that aren't as dangerous, and then implement the same kind of safety precautions with the low potency species, and then take the step to the hots.
So you'd recommend that they stay with something that's not, it's still a venomous, but it's not,
Right.
You're not start walking in with, pit vipers, boom slangs,
Right.
some of the higher, more lethal death adders.
Yeah, right. I mean, even I tend to stay away from elapids, so because they're crazy, and I don't
They're
think I
unpredictable.
at this point, they're unpredictable, and I mean, of course, you can still create a very like trust-based relationship with those type of hots too, but I don't think I could do it because my adrenaline would make me sick.
Now, what was the first hot that you had?
The first one that I had, that was a Boiga. It was a Boiga multicincta, so a mangrove snake.
Okay, that's the black
I
and
mean, they
yellow
still have
mangroves.
they still have the temperament of an elapid, basically, but they aren't that potent.
Now, those are rear fanged venomous, aren't they?
That's correct.
So, can you explain the difference in rear fanged venomous and front fanged venomous?
Well, yeah, in Swedish probably. I don't know if I have the capacity to do it in English, really. But the thing is that it's a
I'm
difference
like, do it in
difference
Swedish.
in
Go ahead, do it.
placement of teeth.
So it's just the
And
mere
then
fact that
also
rear fanged is in the back.
the rear fang, they're in the back and they are angled in a different way as well. And they kind of have to chew the venom into, they don't inject it in the same manner. I mean, there are species that are called rear fang venomous as, for example, hognose snakes. However, some of the species, it's more a matter of venomous saliva than actually injecting venom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the hognose, you mentioned the mangroves. What's another common rear fang venomous snake?
Yeah, well,
Cobra.
yeah, false water cobra, and then we have. Let's see now. This is terrible because most of these snakes I know in Swedish, but I do not know the names in English. And if I would say it in Swedish, I think most of the people watching this would be like, huh?
That's okay. They're probably like hunt anyways to some of the things
Yeah,
that
well,
that
there you go.
get talked about.
Maybe. Yeah,
Just like you, me, and Chris, it's been a year for everybody.
definitely.
Yeah, it's been
And
rough.
it's getting like here it's 8 p.m. so my energy level is going down.
Oh yeah, no, that, and it's all because you're in the UK. You're in Sweden,
No,
aren't you?
I mean
No,
Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah, right.
Sweden's not UK,
Yeah.
brother.
No, Sweden is Sweden, dude.
Yeah,
Sweden is Sweden. All right,
Yeah,
hold
it's
on.
Scandinavia.
you're
I
across
actually
the
have a
ocean.
question. So the question was like, how's
Go for it.
herpetologist, like the classes different from the American classes? Is it any difference, or is it pretty much the same?
To be honest, I don't know. I do not know.
Oh,
I
I just
just
thought
know
I
that I
asked because
had
I
to
thought it
do
was a difference, maybe.
yeah, there probably is a difference. I mean, I just know that I had to do a fuck ton of studying.
So it was a lot of book,
Yeah.
a lot of reading.
Luckily, I like studying and I like knowledge, so yeah, it wasn't that harsh. But when I had to do, because you need to have a specific level of math to actually gain the certificate, and math for me is not my strong subject. Absolutely not. That was the
Okay.
hardest part. Yeah.
And then, so what is the difference between free handling and proper handling?
Well,
And would you recommend free handling?
I would probably not recommend free handling because just by the simple fact that it's very risky, and you need to be aware that even if you have a trust relationship with your animals, accident may always happen, and that's something you need to be prepared for. I usually tell all people that want to get like any type of snake. I usually tell them, because they ask me, so which species should I get if I don't want to get bit? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to have a reptile, you need to be prepared for the fact that you are going to be bitten at some point. It doesn't matter how calm the individual is. It can happen with any individual, basically. So people should never they should never get into reptiles and thinking that they will always avoid any type of bite or accident, because that's just the wrong mindset. And when it comes to venomous, I mean, it is a risk that you have to decide to take yourself. And the difference between proper and non-proper handling of venomous snakes, I don't think that I can. The thing is that I'm a little bit split on the subject. I really don't like the people who free handle their snakes just to gain attention to themselves. But that goes with keeping any type of animal, basically. If you only have animals because you want to further yourself and not actually do anything good for the hobby or animal welfare, then I don't really respect people like that. And especially when it comes to venomous animals, you need to take a step back and think about, why am I doing this? Am I trying to build a trust relationship with my individual so that I can handle them more safely? Or am I just trying to get people's attention?
I agree because I feel like people try to do like those YouTubers, try to do it for clout for the wrong reasons. But
Right, right.
like what's her name? Ariana said yesterday. She said that sometimes it's kind of good too because then it lets people see that snakes aren't that bad.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
when you come working like with venomous or hots or whatever
Yeah.
reptile may be. But then there are those people that freak out when a boa wraps around their arm and they start swinging it around like this.
Yeah, right. I mean,
So
I would say respect the animals, use proper tools, be aware of your surroundings, and don't take unnecessary risks. I'm not against free handling per se, as long as you're aware of the risks, and that you take full responsibility. Um, I have a lot of friends who free handle their venomous reptiles, and they do it because they really want to create this relationship of trust. However, they are also fully aware that accidents may happen, and they will never blame the animal if an accident would happen. And I think that's very important to communicate that you always need to be prepared and take responsibility if you choose to free handle venomous.
I agree. I highly agree. I
Yeah.
agree with that. And Michelle
But
wants to
then
know, how many snakes do you keep?
I currently have 43 animals that are mine. There will probably be more. And then during breeding season, there will be a lot of babies. So then I usually don't even know how many of them I have. I mean, I do. I write everything down because I'm an organized person. But sometimes when people ask me how many snakes do you have, I'm like, well, I got like 3 clutches yesterday, and those were this and that, and then the math comes in again, and I'm like, you know what? That's not my strong side, so please don't ask.
That's a fair answer, definitely when it comes down to just how many there is, and when it deals with breeding, because you never know until everything's hatched out and dealt with, and
Right.
one day you might have 60, the next you might have 100.
Right. Yeah, but permanently there are 43 individuals right now, currently. I mean, I can't say maybe I will buy something new in a few months. I don't know. It happens.
Oh yeah, it happens to the best. You never know what you're gonna have until you have it.
I'm definitely getting myself some more squams. I'm just waiting to find the right individuals.
And can you show us some squams right now or no?
Can I? I mean, they're up there. I can maybe try to show you some. Let's
Okay.
see. Can I turn the camera? I have
Yeah, you
no
gotta hit
idea.
camera and then turn.
All right, wait. I'll do this, and you can say if you see him. Can you see him?
Hold on, let me solo you out bigger. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh yeah, he's just down there
That's the
chilling.
one. That's the one that all the fuss is about. And then the rest of them, most of them are hiding at the moment. I'll just get back here. All right, here we go.
That was awesome. Those are. I
Yeah.
was telling him about the red one you have, that blood red one.
Yeah, Diablo. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that you post all the time. That one's super gorgeous.
Yeah. He's a special child.
So my next question is like, when it comes to like endangered venomous reptiles, do you think
Yeah.
we help them out like when we breed them in captivity? Like, do we help?
Uh,
What I'm trying to say
yeah.
is like
I mean, yeah.
produce more
The thing
more
is
like
that
of that species. You know what I'm trying to say?
The thing is that here in Sweden, wild caught is completely it's illegal. You cannot keep anything that's wild caught, which I think is a good thing because basically all of the species that you can keep are available bred in captivity. So why would you need to go out and try to catch, I mean, endangered species just because you want a cool pet? I understand that all of the animals that we have now originate from wild caught, so I can't talk too much shit about it. However, there is no real reason right now to actually trade in wild caught animals. And of course, some people argue that, well, you need to avoid inbreeding and such. And yeah, that's fair. I understand that. But then I think the whole thing should be regulated in some way. So you can't just buy any type of wild caught species without having any type of, some kind of regulation surrounding it. But the thing is that I breed one species that is endangered in the States, and that is the San Francisco garter snake. And I'm part of a preservation project. There are a few breeders here in Europe that will probably have to reintroduce them to nature once they go extinct. And I had the pleasure to actually seeing them in their natural habitat in 2022 when I visited a friend in San Francisco.
So you're working with one out of the U.S. Are you working with any other endangered animals or just the one?
Well, the San Francisco garter snake is definitely the one that is the most. I mean, I know that in America, if you even touch one of them, if you find them in any of the nature preserves where you can still kind of find them. I mean, there are not that many left. I had the pleasure of actually finding 5 of them, and I was absolutely, I was so happy about it. That was like a life goal of mine. But if you even touch one of them, you can get like a $50,000 fine or something like that, or even prison.
Oh,
So
I
that's
believe it.
the one that, yeah. So that's the species that I currently breed that is the most endangered one. But then I don't have that many CITES B animals actually. I do have some that are protected species, but not endangered per se. I don't know if I would get into it more. I mean, if I would get the chance to do another type of preservation project, I probably will. But right now I'm focusing on the ones that I have.
So you have 43 in total. How many of
Yeah.
those do you breed in a year? Like out of your
Oh,
43, how many
I
are your
don't.
actual breeders?
Oh God, I don't know. Actually, I don't think even half of them are animals that I breed. It's mostly the colubrids, the king snakes and the milk snakes and the garter snakes, of course. And then I'm going to start breeding squamigeras soon. I tried once, and then the female, she killed my male, and I swear that was a knife to the heart for me, man. So now I'm a little bit scared of trying to breed them again. Then I have some of the best breeders in the world that are really good friends of mine, and they're helping me through it. And they're like, well, shit like that happens sometimes. You just have to get used to it. But I'm so emotionally attached to all of my animals. So when that happened, I was heartbroken.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. Anytime
Yeah.
that it's been a pet and something happens, it's always a devastating moment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I was more sad when that snake died than when my grandmother died. That's terrible.
I feel that though. I feel that
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
So,
I was mourning him for a year.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, I would mourn
Yeah,
the same.
yeah.
I
But
now
mean, you
you
really love
hopefully
that reptile.
I'll.
I've seen people mourn for 2 years. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still do. When I see pictures of that snake, his name was Daddy. I still get like a stab in the heart.
I'm sorry, guys. I really am sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Working during the live, I really do hate it. I do.
you know what?
Don't worry
Sometimes you
about
gotta
it.
do what you gotta do. It happens.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
it
happens.
sucks because I'd rather be in this interview. I'm like, I want to be right here with you guys.
Yeah.
Uh, so now I'm driving back to the restaurant, and they want me to do a lot more stuff.
Oh yeah,
There
once you
you
get there, you're locked in the office.
But I'm gonna lock myself
go.
in the
Yeah.
office and finish this interview.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If
Sounds
I'm not
good.
finished
Yeah, it sounds
before
good.
then, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be finished. Um,
Yeah.
what was I gonna ask? Oh, okay. So, have you ever dealt with how do you handle the negativity, like when it comes to venomous keeping, modeling, doing your art, doing what you do, doing what you love?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that whenever I post whenever I post a photo of myself, I always lose a fuck ton of followers. And I mean, I've been working as a professional model for almost 17 years, so that's still something that I enjoy doing. And it, of course, originates in a need for attention and confirmation because I was severely bullied as a child. Like, all up until I was maybe around 15, 16 years old, I was severely bullied. So being able to be proud of my body and my looks and kind of trying to find a type of, I don't know, empowerment in feeling comfortable with myself and showing myself on photos has become almost like therapy for me. And whenever I post something of, a little bit more skin, people always get so upset and they contact me and they write their little comments about, I came here for the snakes, not your ass. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry about it. You know where the unfollow button is. Um, but the thing is that I also kind of find it entertaining to argue with people, to, I mean, argue my case and make them try to understand like I like trying to make people more intelligent. That sounds really arrogant to say, but I want people to think. So then, because my friends, they ask me, why the fuck do you even argue with these people? And I'm like, because I try to teach them something, and I don't want people to just be rude and get away with it.
Sometimes people just need to be taught a lesson. I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I'm petty as fuck, man. So I can't just let them do it and then get away with it. I just can't.
What I was gonna say is like with bullying and stuff. How you said you used to be bullied. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going around. That's why Tanner's
Yeah.
wearing that shirt there. See,
Yeah.
Tanner, go ahead, show the shirt real quick.
Fueled by my yeah, that's a good one. I need one of those too.
That's
So
in support
he's wearing that because there's bullies picking on a little girl,
Yeah.
and we don't stand for that. I have a shirt that actually says, stand against bullying, united, we
Right.
can
Right.
stand together. Um,
Yeah.
I don't understand like why bully. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah, but
I
then
really hate it.
also people have a problem differentiating criticism, constructive criticism, and bullying, because sometimes people really want to make it seem like I'm being a bully, but the thing is that because I can be very harsh. I mean, I'm autistic, so sometimes I sound a lot more angry than I actually am. I'm just being very direct and very like monotone when I write, and you know so then people think that I'm being almost rude, but in my head I'm just being like I don't have any emotional I don't feel any emotion behind it. I'm just trying to give information, and then people think that I'm being unnecessarily harsh, because I am sometimes pissed off when I see how people treat their animals, and it is a passion of mine to try to make this hobby better for the animals. To be quite honest, I don't give a fuck about people. I just want the animals to have I mean, I want proper welfare and more information about how to properly care for reptiles.
I think that's common among the hobby. It's people that are buying what's called your throwaways.
Yeah, right.
Those animals that they sell at the big box stores. Yeah, Chinese water dragons, green iguanas,
Right.
common green tree frog.
Yeah, we have that in Sweden too.
They're all the animals that are sold for $15, $20, $30. Savannah monitor is another one. People don't understand the needs of them. They're like, oh, it's a cheap animal. It'll stay cheap. Everything's going to be cheap. And then they realize that an iguana is going to be 6 foot long and need an entire bedroom for an enclosure.
Exactly. Yeah, and here in Sweden, it's like when you see people at reptile expos, and I mean, parents walking around with their kids, and they're like, oh, here's a corn snake for, $30 or something like that. And they're like, oh, that's a great gift or whatever, like a spontaneous birthday gift or something like that. But they don't realize that if you don't give this animal the proper type of habitat that they need when it comes to thermoregulating and humidity and such, they are going to suffer immensely. And that's what people need to realize, that reptiles, they can feel pain in just the same way as mammals do. So we need to take care of them with the same passion as people do with cats and dogs, etc. And they don't at the moment. They think that it's just a snake. You can just throw it into a box and give it a water bowl and some newspaper as a substrate, and they think, oh, that's fine. But it's not. That's not how they're supposed to live.
So that brings up a good point. What is your thoughts on racks, snake racks?
Oh, fuck no.
I'm going to take this into a deep dive because I heard part of what you were saying already.
Yeah. Do you know how many dude bros I have been in arguments with because they are fighting to keep their rack systems, and they come with these bullshit arguments that this and that species, they actually like living under these conditions, and they live in termite mounds. And I'm like, yeah, I live in an apartment. It doesn't mean that I don't want to get out of it now and then. And they don't understand that that these animals, they actually need to move. They need to get out of their burrows and their holes. They need to you need to promote their natural behaviors like mating and hunting and things like that for them to have a natural life, basically. I mean, a snake, let's say a ball python. A ball python could probably be kind of happy in their little rack, but they don't thrive. They just live. So yeah, but the thing is that you can make a tub bioactive. You can make a tub into a fairly good enclosure, but the whole rack keeping and rack breeding, I can't.
What if they're just starting out? No.
Yeah. If you're just starting out and let's for example say that you have babies, that you have a lot of, like for breeding, for example. I use racks for my babies when I have let's say king snakes or garter snakes. So racks can definitely have a purpose, but for a permanent type of enclosure where you keep the animal for their entire life, I don't think so. For quarantine also, perfect for quarantine, but I just cannot see how people can defend keeping animals in a shoebox size tub for their entire lives.
And you're speaking of shoebox, the actual shoebox.
Yeah, right.
It's actually a quarantine tub out of my rack. It actually has a knoll in it.
Yeah, for quarantine, it's perfect. For baby tubs, perfect. But for permanent enclosures, I just can't. I can't respect it, and I can't support it. It's against all of the things that I've learned about these animals for all the years I've been studying them. And I mean, if people want to learn, if people want to go into it, they should check out Reptiles and Research. He does these fantastic videos on YouTube about this specific subject.
Okay, that's a good one to write down. Chris, you might jot that down somewhere and see if eventually you might be able to get him to come in here with you.
Yeah, he's from the UK, and he goes into it extensively with research, and he backs everything up. So if people look at his videos and they still want to defend their type of rack keeping, it's just they're just a lost cause.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of lost causes when it comes to this hobby.
I'm aware. And I know that people are going to be so pissed at me for even talking on this subject, and people avoid this subject because they will be like almost canceled for it by some of the big breeders in this hobby. And come at me, dudes. Come the fuck at me.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Darian with Dubia.com had mentioned, is that we need to quit the cancel culture. Just because someone's opinions don't line up doesn't mean you need to go in and get everything shut down. That's not the culture of this hobby. This hobby is about informing each other and getting everyone to understand that there is difference in opinion.
Definitely. There is difference in opinion, but then also you have to really check the facts and the science. And some people are maybe a little bit more correct than others. And in the end, what is it about? Is it about our egos, or is it about what's best for the animals?
Correct.
Well said.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's what I mean when I say I don't give a fuck about people. It's because what we feel is irrelevant. It's it's best for the animals that should be the main focus always.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I feel like people I feel like they also need to handle constructive criticism way better than they do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, so some people can take that. I guess when you say it through text, it seems like you're talking shit to them. Versus when you call that person and be like, "Hey, you could do this differently," you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot that can be lost in communication with the text message. Sometimes a text just doesn't portray voice. And when I
Exactly.
say that,
Right.
I mean like you use a different tone when you speak every time. For example,
Yeah.
if you're trying to be sarcastic, it's a change in the tone of your voice. If I
Yes.
want to be
Yes.
sarcastic in a text message, I'm just an asshole.
Right. Yeah. That's one of my issues. That's big. That people, they misinterpret me a lot and think that I'm being a bitch, and maybe I am sometimes. I will admit sometimes people just get under my skin and I get pissed off and I just don't care about being polite. But there are a lot of times when people think that I am being a lot more rude than what I actually intend to, because you can't hear the tone of my voice.
I
Exactly.
get that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you can, and chat will back it up. There's a lot of times I come off as an asshole when I'm talking. It's 90% of
I
it. I
like
am just an
people who are
asshole.
assholes. I'm an
He's just like,
asshole. It's okay.
I was like, he's just sarcastic. It's
Right.
sarcasm.
I love sarcasm. I
Me
love
too. Me
sarcasm.
too. I do. I do as well. I love sarcasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Me and
I
my
don't see
best
it
friends, we
like that.
insult each other all the time. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's just part of it. Oh, look, there's
Yeah.
my wife saying that I'm an asshole.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. She's your number one fan, bro.
I wish to have a relationship like that. When you wake up and you go like, yeah, right back at you, man.
Yeah,
Right?
no, she was the one that just commented 100% when I said I was an asshole.
Yeah, there you go. I like her.
But so you mentioned that when you first got started, your primary focus was king snakes. So
Yeah.
here we don't have a large selection of king snakes. What king snakes did you keep?
Well, currently I keep negritas, the Mexican black king snakes, and
Yep.
then I have the variable king snake, the gray banded king snake, and then I have a few milk snakes as well. So I have the Campelli, Sinaloan, and I have the Hondurensis milk snake.
I have a Hondurans right
Did I
next to
miss?
me.
I love Hondurans. They're gorgeous.
I have a
And what else
tangerine
do I
Hondurans
have?
literally sitting next to me.
Oh,
It's
that's
just off camera.
nice.
I have the
Awesome.
albino one, the albino tangerine.
Yeah, we actually here in Europe, there is a problem surrounding king snakes at the moment, especially the ones that were previously and that are currently included in the Gettula complex, because they are all illegal to keep now. In August of 2022, if I don't remember wrong, they banned all of the subspecies within the Gettula complex. So the Negritas, California, Splendida, Floridana, the Get-Low-on as well. So you cannot breed, you cannot sell, you cannot give away, you can't even transport them anymore. You can keep the individuals that you still have, but you cannot produce any of them anymore.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, and it's because they became invasive in Spain. The Californias, they became invasive on an island outside of Spain, and then the entire Europe, the entire EU just decided, nope, can't have them anymore. And I'm like, I live in Sweden. They cannot become invasive here. We have 8 months of winter, bro.
Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
parts of the US.
I'm waiting for Swexit. Fuck the EU. I don't want to be in it anymore.
So look,
Yeah, there's parts of the
myself
US
said,
that are the same way, and they'll write off stuff just because they can.
Right.
who,
Yeah,
the
because there's
government?
no way in hell. There's no way in hell that those species can ever become invasive here. So the law is unnecessary. It's nonsensical.
Okay, hold on, real quick, before we go any further, Tanner, because I know you got
Yes,
like a
sir.
lot of questions going in there. How much
Yes,
does
sir.
that whole setup behind you cost you? Just for people out there to know. Yeah.
Like you mean like in electricity and such?
No, like the enclosures, like
Like
The
because
how
it was
beginning
much I
very
setup.
put
nice.
into this? I
Yes.
have no idea. I don't want to know. Don't ask. It's a ridiculous amount of money just on wood, dude. Just on wood.
Okay, so those are all
I
custom
don't
built
know.
wood.
Yeah, well, not custom built wood. I mean, the enclosures are wood, yeah. But just the interior, the wood inside, the habitat wood.
Ah,
Just that is a lot. Don't ask. Anxiety. I don't want to think about it.
Okay, I just was trying to throw that out there, and I have a question. If you could tell
The
yourself,
actual question is I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I don't want to know.
so I'm gonna get a little fun here. I just want to have some
Go
fun.
for it.
Um, if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself right now?
18-year-old. Oh man. Break up with that asshole. No, I don't know. What did I do when I was 18 years old? I am old. I am 37 years old, about
That's
to
not
be
old.
38.
That's
I
not
don't
old.
even remember what I did when I was 18. I wasn't the party, drink and fuck type of person though. I was into I just started modeling professionally. Um Actually, I have no idea what kind of advice I would give myself because everything that I've done and everything I've experienced in my life has brought me to who I am today, and I'm fairly happy with the person that I am. Of course, I can still, I can still grow as a person and learn new things, but when it comes to my personality wise, I'm quite happy. So I would just say, you know what? Do your thing.
now you keep mentioning that you were a model or are a
Yeah.
model. What type
Well,
of modeling is it that you do or did do?
I do, and I don't do it as much anymore because, quite frankly, I don't have time. But sometimes I take a few assignments here and there if I get someone who like wants to promote their jewelry or so. I actually did recently. I did a campaign for a local jewelry designer who was doing a collection of Viking inspired jewelry. So then we did like a makeup and made me look like a Viking, and then they took photos, and then they had like an exhibition and stuff. It was quite cool. But yeah, I did mainly alternative fashion modeling. So the type of modeling where you don't have to be like anorexic and a certain length to actually, do these assignments. So I've done a couple of runways and music videos and different types of photo projects for designers, like alternative fashion designers, or actually mainstream fashion designers too, who just wanted to do a campaign with a little bit more of an edgy type of model. So yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
Everyone is waiting like, did you do porn? And I'm like, no, I did not. Sorry to make everyone disappointed. I did not do porn.
She's awesome, bro. So are you like famous out there in Sweden?
I was once upon a time when I was
Okay.
young. I was one of the few alternative models here. In Japan, I was actually quite famous for a while. I was even on posters in stores and stuff. But that was way back in the time. In my city where I live, I'm somewhat of a like local celebrity.
Okay, hold on. So I took a picture with a celebrity.
Oh fuck
Look at this.
no! Stop!
Look at this
Don't!
guy.
Don't even.
I just did it. Yeah.
Look at Chris showing off.
Oh man, that was like the
Yeah.
best trip of my life when I went to America. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, because your best friend or you have a friend here, right? Pale Scales
I
or
have several. Yeah, I have several. But yeah, Danielle, she's definitely one of my best friends. And then I visited a lot of my other friends too, because the main reason why I went to America was the venomous herpetology symposium in San Antonio, Texas. But then I decided, why not make a tour out of it? So I started off in Florida, in Orlando, and then I went to Gatorland and met up with the people there and got like a really nice VIP tour. And then I went to Houston to Conroe for the Reptile Expo, the show that they had there, because I thought when I'm in America, I need to see an actual American reptile show. And that was amazing. So I met up with Alexander England and some other people that I knew there. And then where the fuck did I go? Oh yeah, I went to Georgia to meet up with another friend of mine, Wesley. So, and then I was taken to the Atlanta Aquarium and to some other animal facilities as well. And then I went back to Texas to the San Antonio Symposium. From there, where did I go from there? Oh yeah, when I was in San Antonio, I had the pleasure to actually meet up with Alex as well and see all of his Squamigira collection. I swear, I wanted to steal all of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
If I would have been able to fit one of those white squams into my bra, I fucking would have, and I would have been like, "Thanks, bye."
See you later.
Nice seeing you. See you later. Yeah, but then I went to Phoenix after that and hanged out with Danielle, and that was, man, I love that woman. God, I would marry her if I could, but now she's already engaged. God damn it. Anyway, and then I went to Los Angeles, and that was a huge mistake. I hate Los Angeles. I'm sorry, but I was just a bullshit of a town. That's not my. That is, yeah, that is not my type of. That's not my type of city. I'll tell you that. But then I ended my tour in San Francisco at my friend Jared's place, and he just took me around to all of these nature preserves and just showed me all of the wildlife, and we went herping, and that was amazing.
Man, but you travel a lot, though. You travel a lot.
Yeah, I did. That was 3 weeks that I had to squeeze in all of that. And when I was in Phoenix too, I was taken to the Rattlesnake Ranch, which is absolutely fantastic. And we went herping as well, and I got to find some, wild specks and blacktails, and it was amazing.
So seeing how a lot of reptiles in the U.S. are kept, and seeing how stuff in Europe is kept, what do you think the biggest differences are?
Well, to be honest, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but I went to a lot of different zoos and snake facilities and such. And I mean, the Rattlesnake Ranch was top notch. I mean, their animal welfare is fucking fantastic.
And
at the zoos, yeah, right, yeah, Phoenix.
Cody, yeah, Cody's better. Yes.
Yeah, Cody is amazing, and yeah, so I was actually pleasantly surprised because I've seen so much bullshit online. However, I think that the enclosures generally are larger here in Sweden. I can't say for the entire Europe because we have some bullshit animal facilities in Europe, but Sweden, they are very strict when it comes to animal health laws and such. So yeah, I can only compare to what we have here basically, and since we are so strict when it comes to animal keeping, it almost becomes a little bit unfair. Yeah.
I see what. Yeah.
Yeah, but as a whole, I was positively surprised. I thought I was going to be pissed the entire tour.
And you weren't. You had fun.
No, I wasn't. I was so happy, and I was like, this is actually not bad. This is pretty damn good, actually. Then I saw a few examples of maybe that would not be legal here, and especially on the reptile show. It would not be legal to keep your animals like that at a show. Absolutely, absolutely not. The boxes were too small. They didn't have any substrate. They didn't have because here in Sweden they need to have leaves or something that they can hide under so they don't get as stressed out. And you can't have a reptile show for more than a few hours to, limit the amount of stress that you put on the animal. So a 3-day reptile show would not be legal here.
Oh yeah, and a lot of ours are at least 1 full day, if not 2, 3, 4.
Right, and that would not fly here.
Like Tinley's what, 3?
Yeah, Tinley's 3. Most of them are 2-day shows. There's Oklahoma has a 4-day show. I think it's
Right.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, and just, I mean, to be put on a table like that is stressful as it is. So here we try to limit the amount of stress as much as possible for the animal's sake. And I think when you need to have several days, I mean, you need to really distinguish between making profit and doing something good for the hobby. And I think that the main focus should always be the animal health and profit. Sure, I don't say there's anything wrong with making money out of this hobby. I do it myself. However, it should never be your main motivation.
So, do you guys have much of the shipping of the reptiles? Like here, people ship overnight across the entire U.S.
No, absolutely fucking not. It's illegal to ship animals by post here.
Okay,
So how do you ship them?
You can't do it. Yeah.
Oh, you can't ship them at all?
when I transport animals, I do it myself by car. That's I mean, I drive. I mean, we always have our little Mehduzah Reptiles crew, and we go and we work at the large reptile shows in Germany and in the Netherlands and such. And then we drive the entire way. So it's like 13 to 15 hours drive one way and then back again.
Dang. Yeah, you don't see
Yeah.
that here. Most people here, if it's more than a 3 to 4 hour drive, they're shipping it.
Right. Yeah, no, I can't. I mean, if it works, it works, but the risk, there are many, and people say that, oh, it's safe and they handle them with care and such. Yeah, but accidents may always happen, and I just don't want to take that risk for any of my animals. I just won't.
Agreed. So Tanner, we got 2 more questions, and I want to bring her back for a part 2 because I want to keep it like short because she's hella fun and interesting. So,
but it's also definitely late over there.
Yeah, it's definitely late.
Well, let's see. It's not that late, but then again, I've been doing a lot of stuff today, so and my brain is,
So,
as it
are
is.
you like a day ahead or a day behind?
Ahead.
Ahead, right?
Yes. I had to think a little bit. I was like, wait. Yeah,
so
right.
Today's your Friday.
What?
See,
is it Friday?
It's Thursday here for us.
Is it Friday? Yeah, it's Thursday for me too.
Oh, okay. So
it's
you're
just
same
evening.
Day.
It's evening here, and it's what, like lunchtime there, something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're about
so
right.
here
Okay.
it's 8:54 p.m. Thursday.
Oh, yeah, okay. Here it's 2:54 p.m.
Thursday.
Yep. Same day. Just
all right.
What was that? 6 hour difference?
Gotcha.
That's not too bad.
Something like that. That's not too bad.
Definitely not bad at all. Okay, so my final question, or do you have a final question? You want to go first?
No, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so my final question for you is: if you could change one thing in this hobby/industry, what would it be and why?
If I could what?
Change one thing in this hobby/industry, what would it be? Change.
Oh man, I think it would be. I'm terrible at choosing favorites and choosing just one thing. I'm terrible at it. When people ask me like, "What's your favorite food?" I don't fucking know. Meat.
So what would you prioritize? What would be the first thing you would change?
Okay, the first thing I would change is people promoting themselves instead of prioritizing animal health.
So you would change the fact that people are using what they can get as a clout or a way to get popularity instead of actually caring about what the animal itself is.
Right. And I am well aware that I also take photos with my animals. I even have model photos with my animals. However, I never move the animals far from their enclosures. Whenever I've taken a model photo with any of the individuals, the studio is set up right here in the apartment. And I never really I've never really moved them far from their enclosures, or unless it's absolutely necessary or for educational purposes. So I'm not saying you can't use your animals for promoting yourself or your channel or your work. Of course, you can do that. However, you always need to be aware of what your animal is feeling like. Is it stressed out? Is it in shed? Is this unnecessary? Can I maybe do this while I have to do a health check or clean the enclosure, and then maybe take the photo in correlation with that instead of, unnecessary type of stress. So people, they want to point out that, well, you take photos with your snakes too, and I'm like, yes, I never said you can't. I'm just saying your main focus should be the health of the animal, and you shouldn't abuse the animal to further your own popularity.
Okay. Which,
Yeah.
100% agreeable. Like, if you're in, they have habitats that you build for a reason. They're there they
Right.
live. So
Yeah.
it's like someone just taking you out of your apartment just because they want a picture with you.
Right. And also, taking snakes out of their habitats can have physical consequences. They can get RIs, they can get parasites, they can get shedding issues, they can get stress-related diseases and such, which you should avoid. Like, one of the worst things that when I see it, I have become furious is when people bring their reptiles to malls and such.
Yep.
I just
It
don't
is
see
a
the
common issue.
fucking point. I know. And they take it like it's a prop, like it's a dog. It's not
It's
a
an
dog.
accessory.
And then, right, they treat them like accessories. But like, my animal, my snake actually loves being taken out and taken for a walk, and they don't. They don't.
Now,
I promise you, they do not.
So you would say reptiles, can they feel like emotions?
Definitely. There are extensive studies on the matter, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna
There are
say.
books on it.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to touch
And
on that one.
I'm like, you want to take out your animal, you want to take out your snake, and you want to handle it for a while. Fucking go for it. You want to take them out on a hot summer day and give them the opportunity to sunbask, and to get some UVB, some natural daylight. Go for it. As long as it's a secluded area and not a lot of, birds and stuff like that. Go for it. Don't bring your reptile to school. Don't, unless it's for educational purposes, of course. Don't bring your reptile to a mall or any crowded area. Why? What's the point? Except for, wanting attention for yourself.
Yep, and that's one of the big issues with that the reptile expos here are putting their foot down on, is bringing your animal from home with you to walk around the reptile expo.
Right.
It is unnecessary and dangerous.
Right. It's completely unnecessary.
See, I agree with you, Tanner, on that. I really do, because if it's your pet, that should stay at home and shouldn't be at a show. What if it got sick, like she says? What if it gets mites?
Yeah.
What if it gets, whatever?
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, I sometimes bring animals with me on my lectures. And then I always bring the ones that are used to it. And the thing is that if I would notice that this specific individual shows and indicates signs of stress, I would just basically tell the people who booked me that I'm sorry, I'm not going to be bringing any of the animals. However, I'm going to bring, the slideshow and the photos and videos and everything like that. But I am very sensitive when it comes to just seeing or if my animal is actually up for it. And I have one of my snakes that is licensed therapy snake, and he just doesn't really mind it at all. Of course, it is still a little bit stressful for him as well. But since I always do the drive myself, I don't really drive that long of a distance. I try to limit the amount of stress as much as I can. And he doesn't seem to have any there doesn't seem to be any negative consequences once he's back in his habitat. But if I would ever notice that it would influence him in any way negatively, I would stop.
Hey Jennipher, I want to apologize to you real quick because I've been hella busy today, and
No, don't worry
I
about
felt
it.
like I didn't give you the time. I should have,
Don't worry about it.
but I do want to bring you on for another part two.
Sure thing. I was
Uh,
worried that I was even gonna be able to talk for, more than 30 minutes.
right, like I said, it's backstage. We can talk forever. We were like talking like all cool, but when we get in front of people, it's just different because one, we
Yeah.
feel like we're being judged for working with reptiles or doing what we love.
Yeah, the
Stuff
thing is
like that.
that I spent my entire childhood and teenage years being judged. And right now, unless it's a person
Me
that
too.
I actually care about, I don't give a fuck anymore. I am, as I said, I'm petty. I will argue. I will give responses to people who are being assholes, but it doesn't really affect me emotionally at all.
I'm the
which
same.
which you shouldn't let it. So,
Yeah.
Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. This is getting wrapped up, correct?
Yeah.
So, Jennipher, one final thing that we need to know from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Where can all the people watching us find you at? Where are you? Social media.
Well, I am mainly on Facebook and on Instagram. And on Instagram, it's medusa.reptiles and Facebook Medusa Reptiles. But then there's this, fancy spelling. So I guess, can you see my name here? The Medusa. Yeah, you
Yep.
can, right?
Yeah.
Everyone can see how
I
I
can see
spell
it. Yeah.
Medusa. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there you go. That's how you spell it. And then .reptiles or just Medusa Reptiles on Facebook. And if you have any questions, you are very welcome to send me a DM or a PM. I will mostly respond to all of the messages that I receive, as long as they are, not dick pics, because then I will send one back.
Wow.
But as long as people are not rude, I will most probably respond.
Hey, Chris, when this is done, in the description on the review of it, can you link her in it?
Yeah, I think I have her linked in it, don't I?
I don't know. I can't see it.
Oh, yeah,
Me
I
neither.
think I have it. I have her linked in it. So I mean, I could do it again. I'll check it though. See, it's right here.
I can't see it. All I can
And,
see is there you go. Michelle put it in there.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
she's sitting
follow.
right here.
I was like, I
Ah,
follow Jennipher and I follow Michelle. Michelle's awesome too.
Yeah, Michelle, she's sitting right here.
Why
She's
don't you
like
say
been
hi?
tipping
Tell her to
around
say
on her
hi.
toes. What?
Tell her to say hi.
You wanna come say hi? Come here. Come here. This is my wife. For everyone who wants to know. She's right here.
she was wanting to put your nickname in the chat a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
about it's not appropriate.
Wait. She
Was
can't hear you. I'm gonna give her. She can't hear you. I'm gonna give her a.
I was like, have her say it in Sweden. Nobody knows.
Okay, she can hear you now.
Michelle, earlier you were saying you wanted to say her nickname, but it's not appropriate.
Huh?
Down in the chat
I
earlier, you were saying you wanted
have so many nicknames.
to. Michelle mentioned.
Oh yeah, no, don't say that one. Oh hell no, don't say that one.
Why
Yeah,
not?
no, that one is very inappropriate. Yep.
All right. All right. So we're gonna ask you both a message since she's in the not a message, a question. Well, this is the final one, so this is what's just gonna end it. What is one positive thing you can say to everybody watching right now? But you can say it. Can you say it in Sweden too?
We can't hear you.
Yeah, I think her mic died.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she pushed it. I said I'm not a positive person, so I don't know how to say something positive. I am so not a good person when it comes to inspiring people. I have no fucking idea how to inspire people.
I feel like you inspire a lot of people. You just don't know
What
it.
is
Maybe I do, but I do it just, doing
Yeah,
the things I do.
freely.
It's not like I'm not trying to. It just happens. And when it comes to like
what would be a word of wisdom you'd give everybody then? It may not have to be positive, but a word of advice, something you can tell
Okay.
people that they need to know.
Okay. don't be so fucking sensitive.
And that is perfect.
Learn how to take criticism like an adult. Thank
Bro,
you.
I love her.
There's your word of positivity. Quit being sensitive.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna. You got anything else to say, Tanner? Before we go.
I think we're good here, Chris.
All right. I appreciate you jumping on with me, Tanner, and I appreciate you jumping on with me, Mehduzah. Nice to meet you, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
And
we'll all
I
chat
do
again
wanna
here
plan-
soon.
Yes, and I do want to plan for a part 2, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it. You have a great day. Lift up people, stay positive.
you too.
And have a great night. Love you guys.
Bye. Bye.